Hello, my name is Elizabeth and today I'm going to show you how to colour a background with clouds and grass. And for the clouds, you want to take your lightest grey marker and you just want to outline the image of the clouds. Now the clouds, you can make them whatever shape you want, but as you go towards the top of your image, the clouds are going to be larger, and as you go towards your horizon, they're going to be smaller and less detailed. So I'm just going to outline my clouds in my lightest grey. I hope you can see it okay on the video. Just want to outline the shape of what you want your clouds to look like. So as I'm coming down towards the horizon, I'm making the clouds less detailed, they're a bit thinner. And I'm just going to put a little horizon line in there just so I know where I want my sky up to. And clouds also, if you're looking at them from this angle, they're generally flatter on the bottom and more puffier on the top. So if you want to keep to that sort of shape, then you can. So once you've outlined your clouds, grab your darkest grey marker and you just want to, you can do whatever shading you want, but I'm just going to underline each of the clouds a little bit. And I'm going to add a little bit just to the top of some of them. I'm then going to take my medium grey and I'm just going to blend out each of that colour just a little bit. I'm going to take my lightest grey and blend it again even a bit further. I'm leaving the middle of my clouds white at the moment. I've then got a blue-grey colour, which just adds a touch of blue to the sky, and I'm just going to go over where I've been just really quickly, not being too worried about where exactly the colour's laid down, just keeping the very middle of the clouds white. I'm just going over all of my grey areas. This is an optional step, you don't have to add the blue-grey if you don't want to, you could just leave it as the grey by itself. If you wanted to do more stormy clouds, you could probably try and add some warm greys in as well, just experiment with the colour. And lastly, just to blend it all in again, I'm just going to use my lightest grey. Now, up to you again for optional, you can leave the very middle of your cloud with no colour on it, and the more you colour in your cloud, the darker the clouds will sort of look. If you want to leave them like white and puffy, then leave more of a white space in the middle. And there's your clouds. For the sky, I'm just using two different blues. I'm going to use a very slightly darker blue around the outside of my image, and then I'm going to colour in the rest of the sky, blending out the slightly darker blue and all the rest of the image with a lighter blue. Now using the slightly lighter blue, I'm just going to blend all that darker blue out and colour in the rest of the sky. Once I finish with my lightest blue, I'm just going to take my darker blue again, and I'm just going to put a line just under each of the clouds, just to give it a bit more definition. Probably not right up against the grey, I'm leaving a little bit of blue between where I'm putting this blue and the clouds. There's a little bit of a gap. And there's our sky and clouds. So now that you've finished the clouds and sky, I've also coloured my image, because before, when I do the grass, I want the grass to go over parts of my image, so I want to make sure that my image is already coloured. So when you start the grass, I like to start at the bottom of my image and move towards my image. When you do the grass, you want to make sure that your strokes are going to be nice and thin, and you want to sort of do them in a sort of a V pattern. Now, because I've already cut my image pretty much to size, I'm going to start slightly off my page and flick onto the paper, and I'm starting with my lightest coloured green. You don't need to cover all of the white area at this stage, and you can make your grass really short if you want to, or you can make it nice and long as well, depending on what sort of look you want to go for. So now that I've done my first row across the front, I'm just going to go back a little bit and just do the same thing, just the V shape, just from slightly behind. If you find it easier to flick towards you, you could turn your page upside down and do your grass flicks towards you as well, if you find that's easier to do. I like flicking away from me, so I'm going to keep it up this way. Don't worry too much about being perfect. The blades of grass, it looks better if it's not in line and not everything's exact. I'm making sure that I'm flicking past that blue skyline. So I've finished with my lightest colour. I'm now going to take my medium coloured green, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing, starting at the front, and I'm going to cover all of the area. You don't need to do probably as much coverage as you've just done, because you've already got some of the colour in there. And as you keep going across, it will start to fill in more of those white spaces. So that's my second green. Now I'm going to go to my darkest green colour. I'm going to do exactly the same thing again and just go over the whole area again. You could just leave it at those 3 markers, but I'm just going to pick another colour as well. It's just a bit of a brighter green and just to fill in a bit more of the white space. Now that I've finished the green section, I'm just going to take my darkest green marker again, and because I've got my light source sort of coming from this way onto my image, there's going to be some shadows around the back of her shoes and just underneath the snail in this area. So I'm just taking my darkest marker again, and I'm just going to do some little flicks just to make those areas a bit darker, to give it some shadows. I'm probably making my little grass strokes this time quite a little bit shorter, just trying to concentrate the darkest marker just in the shadow areas. You could also choose a darker marker than your darkest one if you wanted to do a different colour as well. So just as an optional step at the end, you can get a white gel pen and just do the same thing and just do little flicks